Good morning, gang. Happy Thursday morning. Well, I think at this point, we're going to have a lot of people liberals, going to accuse me and a lot of other people of spreading hopium. But I think the cards are on the table at this point, and people realize that the Democrats are desperate. They know they are about to get their ass handed to them, and they are pulling out all the stops to do whatever, to inflame the voters, to just mess with everybody's heads. I mean, yesterday we had God knows how many things go on that show that they're desperate, okay? And I'm going to get into a few of them briefly and then a little bit more specifically. We had the vote on the Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act yesterday come up in front of the House. And the Democrats voted against it, okay? In other words, they are totally fine with women getting beat up, raped, murdered by illegal aliens. They don't want these people deported. Yeah, that one's going to be a tough sell, but they did it anyway. We had a member of Congress, Dan Goldman, out of New York, claiming that Trump will commit a coup on the U.S. government if he doesn't win the election. Coup. Would that be like Kamala Harris taking over the nomination from Joe Biden? Nancy Pelosi being the architect of said coup? I don't know. Again, could this be another one of accuse them of what you're doing, straight out of the Nazi playbook? Yeah. I mean, it's funny when the current Democrat Party has figured out how to combine Nazism and communism all at the same time with everything that they're doing and somehow managed to accuse the other side of it. It's kind of like the stupidity coming out in the news media that Joy Reid, that highly respected journalist she is, saying that the two people that tried to assassinate Trump were Trump supporters. Right, okay, because people always go, I think what I'm going to do today is go out and kill my best friend. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I mean, they just come across looking like idiots more and more and more and more, okay? You had Trump's rally in Long Island yesterday, outside New York City, about an hour outside the city. 60,000 people showed up for a rally outside New York City. 10,000 fit in the arena. 50,000 people stood out in the parking lot to watch, in New York City. You think, I'm not going to go out and say that Trump's got a great chance of winning New York, not by a long shot. If he pulled that one off, that would be a coup. Okay, that would be just crazy good. But Trump is trying to put some people on his coattails at this point, which is good because, let's see, if we can get rid of some of these New York Congress people, the Democrats, and replace them with people that actually love America. The greatest thing that could happen in November, obviously Trump winning. The second one, I'd love to see AOC lose her seat. That would be so, what is it, Tina Fuentes or something? I forget what her last name is, okay? But it would be great to see her defeat AOC. That would be hilarious, okay? You had people going on the media, on the media circuit yesterday. Trump's 2024 campaign is the most vicious, despicable, lie-filled campaign I've ever seen. Then obviously you've never watched Kamala Harris's, okay? We've talked over and over and over. There was a clip of her yesterday or 2 days ago with the National Association of Black Journalists where she was asked, are people better off now than they were 4 years ago? And of course, Kamala Harris had a 90-second answer that avoided the question and in her answer, in 90 seconds, told 7 lies. I mean, that's pretty good. 90 seconds to lie 7 times. But no, Trump's the one that's lying and vicious. Because remind me again how many Democrats have had assassination attempts on him? Oh, I don't know. This year, this decade, this century. I can't think of one. But no, the viciousness is certainly coming out of Trump right now. He's just telling the truth, and that's scaring the piss out of the Democrats, and they're getting desperate. So yesterday, and we talked about this Tuesday night, and Mrs. P and I were out yesterday, and it was like, oh, God, it's like 10 after 2, and I just pulled into a parking spot. I said I wanted to see what the Fed announced yesterday, right, with rate cuts, because we knew they were coming. And even I said on Tuesday, I said I really expect a 25% basis point, 25 basis point rate cut. There we go. Let's get it out. And I opened up my phone and I looked, and I about fell over when I saw the Fed cut 50 basis points. Okay, 0.5%. And I looked at this and I go, the first words out of my mouth was, they know they're going to lose. Now, I'll get into that in a second of what the cause is, but Nate Silver, y'all know who he is, 538, very heavy Democrat, left-leaning pollster, put out his latest piece yesterday. By what he expects, Trump will win every swing state and take 312 electoral votes. Okay. This is the most respected Democrat pollster is saying Trump is going to crush Kamala Harris. Don't think that their internal polling is not telling them the same thing. And all these, Fox comes out yesterday and says, oh, Kamala Harris is up 2 points. Thanks, Paul Ryan. Nobody believes you, okay? Your credibility is trash. Nobody believes a Fox News poll. Sorry, not going to happen. When the New York Times says Trump's winning, but Fox says Trump's losing, we're living in bizarro world, okay? Sorry, not going to happen. But going back to the Federal Reserve. So they announced a 50 basis point cut on the Fed funds rate yesterday, which means we will all see here soon that mortgage rates will dip, that savings account and CD rates will dip, that car financing rates will dip, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But here's where you say they're desperate. Anybody noticed gas prices here in the last 2 or 3 weeks? They've dropped significantly, right? Yeah. Gee, that must be because Bidenomics is finally working, right? No. Okay, anybody that believes that, I got a bridge to sell you. No, it means they are jerry-rigging oil prices right now and artificially deflating them to make it look like something before the election. Because, of course, they'll talk, look how gas prices have come down. There was some moron on Fox News yesterday, Kamala Harris campaign, who tried to convince Harris Faulkner that inflation was at 9.1% when Joe Biden took office. And of course, Harris Faulkner corrected him real quick and said, no, inflation was at 1.4% when Joe Biden took office. It went to 9.1% 18 months into Joe's tenure. Okay. And the guy was like a deer in the headlights going, but that's not what they told me. Those aren't our talking points. Yeah, because your talking points are lies. So they're going to cut interest rates by 0.5% because that's supposed to stimulate the economy more because, the economy's doing so well, this will put more people to work. Wait, Joe, if you're telling me you've put 18 million people to work, that should be good till the truth comes out, right? There's the problem. The truth comes out is you haven't put 18 million people to work, and of the people that you put to work, none of them are Americans, okay? They're illegals, and the other 17.5 million people that have actually gone to work went back to work after being laid off over COVID, or at least told we're closed for a while. So here's where the problem comes in. The Fed cuts 50 basis points. Now, the next Fed meeting is the day after the election, November 6th. In my opinion, and apparently some other economists' opinions, the stupidest thing that the Fed could have done yesterday was cut by 50 basis points. And this is one of the reasons why I didn't think they'd do it. It shows that the Fed is run by the Kamala Harris campaign or Joe Biden administration. Okay, one and the same anyway. Because they're trying to gin up the numbers for Kamala Harris. Because what are they going to do on November 6th? Usually when you have rate cuts, and trust me, from years of being a broker, this is normal, you don't just have one as an outlier somewhere in the middle of nothing. It's usually a series of rate cuts or a series of rate hikes. We haven't seen a cut in 4 years, okay? And we had all the hikes during and after COVID. So what are they going to do on November 6th? Well, they've pretty much told everybody now that unless they want to completely lose what little credibility they have left, they're cutting rates again, another 50 basis points on November 6th. Why? Because can you imagine the political fallout if on November 5th, Donald Trump wins, and then the Fed comes up and says, we're cutting 25 basis points. Wait a minute. You cut 50 to help Kamala Harris go into the election, but now that she didn't win, you're going to back it down and only cut it 25? Because now we're going to try to bring those interest rates back down, but now you're not going to do as much as you did before the election. It would have made a whole lot more sense economically and just in the eyes of the public to cut 25 basis points yesterday. They didn't do that. They've got to try to juice up the economy, however short-lived it will be, so it looks better for Kamala Harris going into the election. Because the Fed knows that a lot of them are out of jobs come January 20th next year, because you can pretty much guarantee that Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen are going bye-bye in the new Trump administration. So they want to make sure that they can keep their job, and so they'll do whatever they can to juice up Kamala Harris. They're getting desperate. This is what's going on. They're going to throw, and we talked about this 6 months ago, that watch right before the election and especially after, they're going to throw out the baby with the bathwater and throw everything they can to sabotage Trump going forward. They're going to try to do whatever they can to juice up Kamala now, and then when they lose, they're going to do whatever they can to make it impossible for him to recover the country. Because remember what I told you that the Rothschild said. If Donald Trump wins, globalism is dead. This is it. They want globalism. The only way they can get it is if they maintain their power. Remember, Donald Trump was not supposed to win in 2016. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be the one to come in and put the final nail in the coffin. And the gods smiled upon the world and said, no, we're not letting this witch ever run anything again. This is where we are. So what do you do about it? Well, I will say this. If you are a fixed income investor, you buy CDs, you buy bonds, anything like that, whatever, I would be doing whatever I can to get them this morning before the rates trickle down before the rates go down, and that all trickles into the fixed income market. You got money in a savings account, expect to see your interest rate drop, okay? If you're in the market to buy a car, to buy a house, and you can wait, I'd wait until after the election. You're going to see rates drop further, okay? But we've now hit the peak, and rates will start coming down because, of course, there's way too much bad publicity out there. Remember, Kamala Harris is losing the Gen Z vote and the millennial vote. That will crush her. I mean, she's losing, she's underperforming. I guess I can't say losing, because she's underperforming Joe Biden in 2020 with the 18 to 30 vote, the black vote, and the Hispanic vote. And Joe Biden won by what? A combined 40,000 some odd votes in the 3 battleground states it took him to win. She can't afford to lose any of those groups. So they are doing whatever they can to juice up the economy, because that is the big issue, where the kitchen table issue that everybody talks about. Gee, go to work. I got to put more money in on the gas tank. Okay, that'll help the black vote. That'll help the Hispanic vote. They got to go to work, right? So let's see if we can save them some money there. We'll artificially deflate gas prices. Gee, the young people, they want to buy their own house. Let's artificially manipulate interest rates for the short term so maybe they can do something and buy a house or whatever. Nah, way too early to do that, okay? I'm not going to go into 2025 predictions yet. It's too early, but I'll, off the top of my head, say we'll see mortgage rates back in the 5s next year when Trump is reelected. I'll have a lot more on that New Year's Day, but there's a lot of time to happen between then and now. But just know, everything that you're seeing right now is smoke and mirrors. This is all desperation. It's just funny, the lengths that the Democrats will go to lie to the people. But it doesn't matter. The people are getting smarter. At least, let's hope to God 50.01% of the country has gotten smarter and says, we're done with your bullshit. Let's get back to this country the way it's supposed to be, where we're a land of opportunity, not a land of equity. Pinball out.